welcome to or welcome back to the channel Jane Reads. My name is Jeanette, and today I'm kicking off the start of another week of my reading, rambling, and real life. Today is Monday, June the 15th, and I am home from work now, and I thought I better give you a reading update of what I'm starting the week reading. Now, I did listen to a bit of my book this morning, so I don't know what chapter I started on, but I'm reading Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. I am currently on chapter 29, page 223, so almost halfway. Not quite, but very close because there's 60 chapters, so 30 would be halfway. I'm not completely following the story. I'm following it enough to know what's going on. And there are chapters where I was like, okay, I totally know what happened in that chapter. Then there's other chapters of like, what? Where were we now? What? And so, Crockpot is done. So I have been watching the YouTube videos that are put out by Course Hero. They do an overall summary with characters and stuff, but then they also have separate videos for every 2 chapters. So as I listen to 2 chapters, then I watch that video to make sure I'm comprehending what happened before I get too far ahead. So I've been rotating back and forth that way, and it is definitely helping on those chapters that, where did we go? What? But then there's other chapters that I totally understand. And I was like, I don't need the Course Hero, but I'm going to listen to it anyways, just to make sure I'm comprehending what I think I'm comprehending, what the book's telling me. So I'm still like, yeah, I don't really care. I don't know. I was rooting for Pip at the beginning, but as he's gotten older and gone more to be a gentleman, training and stuff, and he feels like he's above people, that really bothers me. So we'll see what happens. Then so I should say, I need to read 4 chapters a day to get this read before my audiobook is due back. And I thought I was doing really well, that I was ahead. Well, I'm now exactly where I need to be because I didn't listen over the weekend, and that was 8 chapters that I should have. So all my ahead disappeared. So now I'm back where I should be. So my physical read is A Cry from the Dust by Carrie Stuart Parks. This is book 1 of the Gwen Macy series, and this is her debut book. Now I will say this cover is creepy. There is another cover for this one that is not as creepy. It doesn't have the half faces or the eye, but this is the one that I found at a used bookstore. And I am currently on chapter 9, page 90 of 360 pages, it looks like. Nope, that's starting the next book. No, that's a completely different book. Where does the actual book end? Author's note? Okay, 352. So maybe almost a quarter of the way, give or take. Yeah. And each chapter has ended with something, some sort of cliffhanger, like a moment, like a car crash kind of thing, or just we got a call and what? Like what? I have to read the next chapter. So it's very intense so far. Gwen is a forensic artist who is doing drawings and working on sculptures from the massacre that happened in 1857, and we're slowly revealing things. There's a lot of Mormon stuff with Utah in it, and kind of who's really behind what happened and what's happening now. Like, are the Mormons mad about something, or somebody else mad at the Mormons? Like, there's a lot going on, and I'm a little bit confused, but it's because we're still trying to figure out. So as I read, I won't be as confused, I don't think. So yeah, for supper tonight, we have chili in the crock pot. Again, not really a summer meal, but it's also not really summer weather. It is warm enough to go sit on the deck, so I might do that for a bit. But I mean, I wore jeans and my 3/4. to work today because it wasn't really warm outside. I mean, it did rain all day yesterday. And so we are gonna have chili for supper. It was also kind of one of the freezer meals that was already done, needed to use. I can't wait till the fall to use it. So that's what we're gonna have. And yeah, that's really the plan. I do need to film a video at some point today, so I hopefully will do that. Otherwise, I really just plan on relaxing and reading and, eating. I did not run fast enough to my car and I ended up getting wet. It had kind of slowed down, but then I just left at the wrong time. So it is Tuesday after work now. I'm headed home. At least when I get home, I can park in the garage and just go inside the house. So like I'm as wet as I'm going to be, hopefully. Assuming Andrew didn't take the garage. Yeah. So tonight we have sprints with the pink hat ladies. And I'm wearing a pink shirt because I still don't have a pink hat. At some point I will get one. But yeah, so I'm hosting that on my channel tonight. That should be fun. Assuming, everything's okay with the weather. We will see. So yeah, I'm gonna head home. So Andrew got a tumbler from work for the diamond plant. Who knows? I don't really know. Oh, quality control at factory apparently. So he received this Yeti for work, which is much better than some of the ones we had. But that's kind of led to, how many water bottles, drinking things do you really need? Now, in addition to what is here, I have my coffee one that I take for work, my juice one that I take to work. Andrew has a water one he takes to work. So that's 3 more that's not here. So let's reduce this a bit. Okay, collection has been pared down to this because I forgot that we also have 2 more of these that we have in our travel, one for hot, one for cold. We just keep it with our travel stuff, and then I have the 2 for work, obviously. So I'm like, this is the hardest though, is these ones. Because this one's stainless steel, it's Dunkin' Donuts. I absolutely love this one. This one, I just like the size of it. This one is my favorite one to use on the deck because it's double walled, put ice, keeps it colder. Andrew loves our Disney mugs for cutting the grass and stuff, so we'll keep those. He also just really loves this donut mail one. It's an old thing. And then he decided to keep another stainless steel coffee one in addition to his new Yeti he just got, that's stainless steel. Then this is what we are getting rid of. Now, obviously some have shown their age. I'm even getting rid of a Coke one. Who am I? So yeah, so we're getting rid of 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, and we're keeping 6, 7, 8, including the one he just got, the 2 I have, so 11, I guess, including the ones we work much better, so like a half. Okay, so it's Tuesday evening and I have sprints with the pink hat ladies that I'm hosting. I am reading A Cry from the Dust by Carrie Stuart Parks. I have started on chapter 15 today. Yeah, 15, page 156. And so we'll see how far I get. I did read quite a bit in Great Expectations today. I am now on chapter 36, so making good progress on that. And I am still like, these last few chapters, it was like, what? I have no idea what's going on. So we'll see. Whereas this one, I am understanding, but there are so many people mentioned and characters, like they're researching with like how did Joseph Smith die, for example, and bunch of research, and I'm just like, wow, there's a lot of info dumping during the research. it is Wednesday after work. I am home for a little bit, but then I gotta head out because I have a dentist appointment this afternoon. Normally, I don't mind going to the dentist, but I'm not looking forward to it today. My throat is feeling weird just to swallow, and I think it's kind of left over from when I had the cold. I don't know, we'll see. But I did listen to a bit more in Great Expectations today. I am now, I am now at chapter 40, so I'm making good progress, and I think in the last chapter that Pip just found out who his benefactor, who left him, who has been looking after him and paying for him to become a gentleman. I think that is what happened. I need to read one more chapter so that I can listen to the Course Hero summary. So I'm like, okay, I think this is what's happening. Am I understanding this correctly? So we'll see. That's really bad that I think this is what is happening. I am not a classics reader, and I do not understand why this is my friend's favorite books. I don't get it. Okay, then last night on Sprints, I read A Cry from the Dust, and I have now made it to chapter 25, page 233, and there's 350 pages, so I have about 120 pages left in this one. I'm hoping to finish tonight, but that might be a little bit of a stretch because I also need to film a video tonight. So probably tomorrow might be more realistic. We will see. So that is my reading check-in. I am hooked, invested in the story, but my complaint is the same. There's too many characters to keep track of. And we thought we could trust somebody and something happened. Oh, maybe not. But there was a really funny scene in one of them. So the main character, Gwen, is a forensic artist, right? Yeah. She's working with clay to sculpt some skulls, like some faces, hence the faces on the book. And her ex-husband had arrived at the house to pick up some of his stuff. And he was just being really, really annoying while she was working on these clay. And she just took a chunk of clay and threw it at him, and it hit him in the forehead. I laughed so hard. It's like sometimes you just need to do that. So yeah, it wasn't like it hurt him, right? But yeah. So there've been some really funny scenes in this, as well as what? I thought you could trust this person. Maybe you can't trust this person. Well, can you trust this person? And what just happened? Where I ended, it was like, oh my gosh, did what just happen actually happen? Or is it only appearing to happen? We will see. So yeah, this is what I'm reading right now, but it's off to the dentist. Okay, we're back at A&W to pick up supper. Yay for coupons. So we have left the dentist now, and it went fairly well, other than I had a male hygienist who I've never had a male hygienist before. So that just felt a little strange. I mean, it was fine. It just felt strange because I've never had one. And then at the very end, he put like this coating on my teeth after fluoride and stuff, and it just tastes so gross. Like, it just, my mouth just like, ugh, this is disgusting. Get this out of my mouth. And then he said, I'm not supposed to eat anything hot for 2 hours. And I'm like, I need to eat supper. Well, as long as you don't eat anything really hot and it's just lukewarm. Okay. I don't plan on having soup. I'm planning on having a burger. And okay, it won't be extremely hot. That's okay. I don't care. Right now, I just want this taste out of my mouth. But yeah, that is me at this moment. Well, it is Thursday after work now, and it was another one of those, how fast can I run to my car and not get too wet? Oh, I need a rain jacket apparently. It is rainy all week here, but talking to different people, it seems like it's been like this for a lot of people, like across the country and the states and stuff. So yeah. Oh well. What is the plan for tonight? I don't even know. I don't even know what we're having for supper. I didn't even think about it till I was going to bed last night. And by that point in time, it was like, oh, well, that's going to be a tomorrow problem. So it's going to be a go home and see. We have a bit of chili left over, but I don't think we have enough for both of us. And I don't know if Andrew's going to want it again anyways. So I don't know. Oh, well. I did listen to quite a bit of Great Expectations today at work because I'm just looking through old finance files trying to find receipts for certain things. So I did. I don't know how far I got. I'm like at the 84% mark. I just don't know what chapter that is. I need to look. And I'm not liking this book. I'm just finding it really boring and I just don't care. I'm sorry to my friend. Yeah, that is my check-in. I do hope to finish A Cry from the Dust tonight, though. I didn't get a lot read because I filmed and edited, but I'm hoping to finish that book tonight so I can start the other 26 and 26 book because I would love to be able to read both in this vlog. So we'll see what happens. It is later on Thursday now. We've had supper. We ended up throwing a chicken pot pie in the oven, and we had that with the leftover chili. Quite a mix, but we had to use up the leftovers, and the pot pie wasn't going to be filling enough on its own. So that's what we did. We did make a plan for shopping tomorrow, grocery shopping tomorrow, and what we're going to have for supper tomorrow night. So, I mean, we're much more prepared than we were earlier today. And now I'm going to sit down and read a bit and watch a little bit of show jumping, but it is one I've watched before, so that's why I'm going to read. So I got my Great Expectations book and I looked up on the audiobook to see where I was, and I'm on chapter 52, just starting 52. So I have 8 chapters left. So if I go 4 chapters a day, that's 2 days left. But will I do 4 chapters a day? I don't know. We'll see. I'm not quite sure what the plan is for the next couple days yet. So yeah, Andrew has tomorrow off again. So I'm kind of trying to decide, do I have everything that I had to get done? Could I take the day off? I might. I don't know. I don't have anything that's urgent right now. We're kind of in a lull period right now, so I have nothing that's really urgent. There's going to be nobody in the office. So do I need to be in the office? I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I might text my boss tonight and we'll see. That is one thing I absolutely love is I have freedom. As long as the work's done, it doesn't matter, right? So yeah. Okay, so that is Great Expectations. I am still not really enjoying it. I don't know, and there was one point where they're talking about this convict that it was not supposed to leave New South Wales and come back to England because he'd been extradited from England to New South Wales. And I don't know, my brain did not go to Australia when I heard New South Wales. I was thinking Wales, the country, right? And I mean, I knew it wasn't, it's not called New South Wales. It wasn't till I watched the recap for the chapter on the Course Hero where he said Australia. And I was like, duh, New South Wales is Australia. So, yeah. Then I have A Cry from the Dust, which I'm on chapter 30, page 264. And there's 355 pages, I think I said in this. So yeah, we'll see. Is definitely stuff happening. When the chapter ended last night, I was like, oh, I need to keep reading. But no, I need to go to bed. So yeah, because it was it ended with, I know her. Who is she? So yeah, I'm going to keep reading this and hopefully finish tonight. We will see. So yeah, that is my reading update. Well, it is Thursday evening and I finished this book, which means I get to scratch the 26 and 26 card. But first, what were my thoughts about this book? As I said before, it has way too many characters that made it really difficult to keep track of. Like secondary characters, and with the research with the Mormon church and the Avenger angels and stuff, and it was like, wait, are they connected to that? Are they? So I mean, it led me with a lot of questions, like who could you really trust? And you thought you could trust this person, and then something happened. It's like, oh, maybe not, maybe it's this person. And then, right, so there was a lot of switching around that happened that way. So that really kept me invested, because what was going to happen? And then at one point, Gwen seems to be in serious trouble. And how is she going to get out of this situation? Like, I was invested and needed to know. And every chapter ended with a little bit, I wouldn't say a full cliffhanger on every chapter, but a little bit that was like, okay, what's going to happen next? What? Now I got to read to find out, like totally like that. So I enjoyed it. I was invested, but I was also lost at points. I feel like maybe the middle kind of dropped a bit. So the beginning was like, okay, what's going on? What's going to happen? We have the first murder happen. And then it was like, okay, what led to this? What? Who is this person? And then I felt like it kind of slowed down a little bit, especially in the research part of it. And then near the end, like action starts happening quite a bit. I did also really enjoy the interaction of Gwen and her best friend Beth, and kind of like just the way they bantered back and forth, and how Beth was so hyper to get involved with the crimes, or get involved with solving the crimes and doing the research, and oh, I get to be your Robin to your Batman, right? And kind of thing. Like, I really liked Beth. But I also feel like Gwen might have made some bad choices, and that led to some of the things that happened. But I also feel for Gwen on what she's gone through. She definitely showed her strength throughout. So yeah, it is book 1 in the series. I do plan on continuing the series. I've heard that the series gets better from this one, but this really allowed me to get to know Gwen. And I really hope Gwen and Beth are in the next book. And I also really liked the relationship with the daughter, 14 years old. Her parents have just gone through a divorce. And so she's very like kind of torn between her parents, and seems like her parents are putting their work in front of her, right? So she kind of doesn't make some of the greatest decisions either. But I mean, everything kind of works out. And by the end of the book, it looks positive for the relationship with the parents with the child. So I really hope that's the same going forward. So overall, I think I'm giving this a 3-star, which feels really harsh, but because I felt so lost throughout some of it, and yeah, I think that's where I'm landing. And I gotta say, this cover is just creepy. Yeah. So now I am going to go to the overhead camera and scratch this, and we'll find out where it goes on the board. Okay, so here is my reading journal with my 26 and 26. I have 7 spots left. 1 to complete a line. Will this be number 19? I don't know. So I'm going to scratch the card and we'll find out where it goes. And it's not going to be number 19. We are 26. There we go. Well, that did not complete this line. It was 26, so it went way down here. So I've got 2, 3, and 1. Or should I say 3, 2, and 1? That would have made more sense. So now the next book I'm going to pick up is What I Promise You by Liz Tolsma. This is book 2 in the Echoes of the Past series, and this is another 26 and 26. So once I finish this one, I will be able to scratch another spot and see where it goes on the board. So yeah, That's why I'm picking up now. And it says, a family's history is lost to the ravages of World War II in southwest France. So it is a dual timeline with 1942, a young pregnant Jewish woman. And in 2022, we've got Caitlin, who is haunted by recent events in her life. So we'll see what happens. So this is the next book that I am going to start. Okay, so it is Friday and I did stay home from work today, and it's been a nice slow day doing stuff at work. I did talk to the pastor last night and like everything was done. He wasn't gonna be in. I'm like, so he was like, yes, take the day. So I did. As I was getting ready this morning, I listened to more of Great Expectations. I am now at 95%. It says I have an hour left on the audiobook. I'm on chapter 57. So 4 chapters left, 7, 8, 9, 60. Yeah, so we're getting there. I'm also like, I was very invested those last 5 chapters, I would say. It was like, oh, what's going on? But also part of it, what was going on? But I needed to know. So yeah, I hope to finish this probably tomorrow. I don't think I'll read any more today. I did not read anything of What I Promise You yet today, or I have not read anything of this yet today. I did start it last night. I read 3 chapters, and the first 3 pages of this are glossary. Well, 2.5, I guess, really, are glossary for French words because it is set in Japan. It is not set in Japan. It is set in France, hence the French words. Jeanette, where was your brain? But then I get to chapter 1. I'm trying to find chapter 1 now. Here's chapter 1. This page. And that page. And I mean, where I am right now, chapter 4, chapter 5. Oops. There goes my bookmark. Now chapter 5 is longer than 4. But so then I went to the back just to see how many chapters does this book have, because it's only 300 and some pages. It is, so it's 341 pages, but there is 71 chapters. Wow. Okay, got my bookmark. And then I had this sitting by the stove while I was making lunch. And then I was looking at it, I'm like, I never really noticed. She's holding a cat. You know how many times I've looked at this cover and never noticed that there's a cat on it? So yeah, so now it is time to make supper. And we're gonna make this skillet, chicken, sausage, and vegetable skillet. We do not have chicken sausage, so we're gonna use kielbasa sausage, and it calls for zucchini, onion. We're not gonna use the whole thing. Red pepper, and potatoes. And basically the reason we're making this one is because we need to use some of these potatoes up. So that's what I'm gonna start now. Okay, so we cooked the potatoes, then we took them out and put the sausage in and let it cook a bit. And now I'm gonna add all the veggies. So we got zucchini, the 2 peppers, the onion. Only problem with this meal, it's a lot of chopping. Okay, so it says to cook until the onions are translucent, but I like to make sure that the zucchini is fully cooked because I'm not a huge zucchini fan. Then I'm gonna add garlic, and cheating. Add a couple cloves of garlic and let that cook for 30 seconds. Then you add a tablespoon of Italian seasoning, or not a tablespoon, a teaspoon. I have a half here, so I'm going to do it twice. And then half a teaspoon of paprika, which is why I had the half. Mix that around. And then we add the potatoes back. Let it cook for a couple more minutes, just basically reheating the potatoes, making sure they're still hot. Okay, we're ready to eat. Andrew added HP sauce on top of his, along with some carrots. But it's time to eat. Well, it is Saturday afternoon now, and Andrew has gone outside to go play with his remote control car, and I'm gonna film a video. But this morning, or actually, no, I guess it was still technically this morning, I finished Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. I am so glad to be done with this book. And then we're going for supper tonight with a couple friends, and one of them is the one that recommended this book to me. So at least I can tell her now, I finished it, I read it. I don't understand why you enjoy it so much, because it is not a favorite book for me. But at least I can talk to her about it. And now I know the story. So basically, we are following Pip from 7 years old up to mid-20s, early 30s probably. Turned 21, 11, early 30s by the end of the book. So, I mean, it covers like a good number of years. Pip is living with his older sister and her husband. His older sister is not very nice to him. And so he does have a good relationship with his Uncle Joe when the book opens. Over the course of time, like, he dreams of kind of following in Joe's footsteps and becoming a blacksmith. As he grows up a little bit more, he feels like a blacksmith is kind of below him and he wants to be a gentleman. He receives an anonymous benefactor and he is sent to London for schooling and stuff to become a gentleman. Now, I don't fully understand really what that means exactly, other than they're the ones that have like servants with them, kind of. I don't know what the guys do. Yeah. And then he finds out, he assumes he knows who his benefactor is. It is not that person. He finds out who is truly his benefactor. And he's a little disappointed to find out it's them. And then stuff happens over time. And he doesn't actually end up receiving that person's funds or anything, because he is not blood related to that person when that person passes away. So now he's in a ton of debt. He's realizing that he didn't treat Joe correctly, like the way he should have. And he is starting to realize that maybe Joe was not beneath him as a blacksmith. And he does repair the relationship with Joe. He also dreams of marrying a certain woman who is not a very nice woman. She might be beautiful on the outside, but she is not on the inside. And it's kind of like, why? As we get to the end, we see he is finding contentment in life, working at what he's working at, which I'm not exactly sure what the position is, but he's a partner in a firm. But I don't really know what their business is, but that's okay. So we do see him repair his relationship with Joe. And then at the ending, there are two endings to it. There is the published ending, and then apparently there's an original ending that Charles Dickens wrote that a friend convinced him to change. But in this book and in the audiobook, there were both endings given. I didn't really care for either one. Like, it was kind of like, whatever. So what I'm taking away from this story is appreciate what you have, grow and learn from your mistakes, because Pip definitely does grow and learn over the course of the story. And so I really did like that. There were scenes I really enjoyed and was invested, like what's happening, what's going on. I knew what was exactly happening. There was other scenes I just didn't understand the point of them. And kind of my question is, whatever happened with Orlick? Like, nothing is ever said. And I'm like, that seems to be a very pivotal moment at one point in the story, like into Pip's life. But then what happens? I don't know. So for me, it is a 3-star. I will be passing this book on. I do not plan on reading it again. It is one of those that I can say I've read, and now it's somebody else's turn to read. But also, I am not a huge classics reader. I just don't get it, appreciate it, understand. I don't know. But yeah, so I will be passing this book on. So last night I did read a bit more in What I Promise You. And I have the audiobook for this. So now that I'm done with the audiobook with Great Expectations, I can focus on one book, which is totally my preference. I am struggling a bit with the French in this. I am having to turn to the glossary quite a bit because wait, what's that again? What's that term? What's that mean? There seems to be a lot of it, but they are set in France, so it does make sense. We have 3 timelines at this point in time. We have 1942 with Naomi. Then we have 2022 with Caitlin. And then we have 1955 with somebody. The name has not been revealed. The 1955 is being told in first person, and it keeps saying like I, whatever, right? I feel like it might be Naomi in the future, like from 1942, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Whereas the other 2 timelines are told in a past tense, so we know who the characters are. I'm finding the beginning to be a lot slower. Like I'm only on I'm on chapter 20. Page 96, 98. Oh, I need to get my glasses checked. We're on page 98. But I'm finding it's taking me a while. I'm very interested in Caitlin and kind of what has sent her to Barcelona and now in France. Like, we know that something happened, but we don't know what that something exactly is. We know what the result of that something was, but we don't know exactly what happened. Then in the 1942 with Naomi, I'm very invested in Naomi. She is a young pregnant woman, has been separated from her husband, and kind of what's going to happen. So I am intrigued about it. It's the 1955 chapter that is really throwing me off because I don't know who that is. But it's also very slow paced right now as it's setting up the story and getting to know the characters, right? So we will see. So that is my reading update. Now I'm going to film a video. Hopefully, I don't know. I was going to say hopefully edit it. We'll see. I also want to do my nails before we go out for supper. So I have 3 hours, I think. So we'll maybe 4. I don't know. What time is it? So we'll see. I don't like this color. I've decided I don't like this color and I'm going to unhaul it. So yeah. Okay, now I'm going to film the video. I will check back in later. We left the house. We are headed out for supper with some friends. I'm hoping to get a burger of some sort. Did you ever look at the menu?
Yes.
Do you know what you're getting?
Maybe.
Okay. He always likes to look at the menu ahead of time, and I'm like, just wait till you get there. But you also probably didn't bring your glasses, so...
I'm wearing them.
Yeah, that's not going to help me with reading.
Well, you know me, I read all the time.
I knew he would have some comment.
Cheese. Gonna show your viewers what we're eating?
Say cheese.
Happy Sunday. So last night we went out for supper with friends, got a very short little clip because we were just really hungry. By the time we were done eating, we looked at the clock and it was like, wow, we ate really fast. So then we left the restaurant and went over to Wendy's and got the 99-cent Frosties because that dessert was a lot cheaper than at the restaurant. And then we drove around car lots and the guys looked at cars and the girls sat in the car and chatted. And we talked about Great Expectations and what we were currently reading and stuff. And as I was chatting to her, I was like, look it. Remember I said it was a cat? As I looked more and more, I'm like, why is she holding a cat? It's a baby, which makes so much more sense because we're following a pregnant woman who's at a maternity home. Makes so much more sense. Oh my gosh, but it is not very clear at all. Yeah. So then we came home. They needed to have an early night because he had to work early this morning, which Andrew totally understands because that's normally Andrew, but he doesn't work Sundays. So yeah, so we came home and I filmed a video, I edited the video, and then we chatted and went to bed. That was basically our Saturday night. Now it is Sunday. It is Father's Day today. So we did not go to church this morning because it's just too difficult still, like even after so many years, to hear talk of father and your earthly father and comparing your heavenly father to your earthly father after losing earthly fathers. It's just difficult. And I find it really challenging because my dad was a pastor and he'd be the one up there preaching normally. So like on Father's Day, that's just such a reminder. And then with Andrew losing his dad within the last couple years, and we're still dealing with like estate stuff of that. So it's a difficult day. So we've decided to stay home. Andrew has just gone out to go get some buns because we're gonna barbecue some turkey burgers. Yay, it's not raining today. It's like the second day all week that it's not raining. It was threatening rain yesterday, but it didn't rain. So I have showered and I decided I'm not really going to do my hair. So it's gonna dry naturally and you might see some of the curl that I hate. I did clean my makeup brushes this morning and now I'm going to go sit on the deck and read because he's going to be on the deck soon. As soon as he gets home with the buns, he'll start the barbecue. I have made it to chapter 36, so I'm pretty much 50%, I would say. 172, and there's 300 and 340. Half of 340, 150, 170. Oh, I'm like exactly 70% or 50% through. So yeah, I'm hoping to finish this today. But I don't know, because I really would like to scratch both 26 and 26 cards in this video, but we'll see. Sure, the sun goes behind a cloud. So we'll see. I'm really enjoying like kind of the 1942 timeline. Like I'm invested in what's going on with her. And in the 2022 timeline, what's going on with Caitlin. It's the 55 timeline that is still throwing me off. And I'm pretty sure I know who the person is, but I could be totally wrong. But it's just throwing me off because it's just thrown in there and it's like, wait, I know it's going to connect at some point, but yeah. So I'm going to go outside and read. Toad in the hole and mashed potatoes. And I tried a new recipe and this one looks much more promising than my other one. So toad in the hole is Yorkshire pudding with sausage, obviously.
Where's the toad?
They're the sausage.
Oh, okay.
Don't ask me why, I don't know. It's British.
Yeah, no comment.
Well, it is Sunday evening now, and I finished the book. I had a very good, relaxing day. I read on the deck, ate lunch. I read on the deck, had a nap, made supper, read. Andrew went to bed, and I read. I did print off the deck of TBR printable for my reading journal and the various prompts, and then I made notes beside the prompts of books that I could use depending on what cards I get. So that should hopefully help me when I film my TBR game, so I can, you know, prioritize certain books for July. At least I'm hoping that will help me. We will see. There's some books that I really want to read, but I'm like, they don't fit one of the prompts. So unless I get a poll pick where, like,
I put the ones I really want to read, and hopefully the one I want to read is chosen. We'll see what happens. Or I get all aces, which, I mean, it's not possible, right? Because there's only 4 in a deck. And I can just have a free pick, but we'll see what happens when I film. I'm not thinking about filming yet. So with this book, What I Promise You by Liz Tolsma, it is book 2 of the Echoes of the Past series, but it does not connect with book 1. It's just like the same theme. We have dual timeline, World War II, and then a present day is 2022. And so in the 1942 timeline, we are following a young woman who is married, is pregnant, is Jewish, and gets taken to a camp, and then she ends up at this maternity home, and the people at the maternity home are working with the Jewish women and children and trying to protect them from this camp. Something happens to her husband, like she's being separated from him, and what's going on. So we're kind of following that story through. Then in the 2022 timeline, we have a young woman who has just graduated college and dreams of being a missionary. So she has gone over to Barcelona, Spain to train. I think it's a 6-month training to become a missionary. But she is really dealing with a heavy thing that happened. And this has always been her dream with her best friend, but her best friend is not with her. They had planned on doing this together, but something has happened that her best friend is not with her, and she's really struggling to deal with that. She does have a great roommate, meets a couple great friends, and they travel to France, to where this maternity home was, to try to find the background for her grandfather, who's grandfather, and kind of dig into the story about, like, he believes he was born at this place, but they're not really sure. They want to find proof and stuff. So we're following that. Then there's a third timeline in 1955, and I did not understand the 1955 timeline majority of the way through. Because the 2 timelines are told in third person perspective. So we know who they're following, what they're about. The 1955 timeline is told in first person. So it only says I looked out, I. So like, we don't know who that is until the very last chapter for 1955. Like, it's all revealed. And I had no idea. I suspected, okay, it's going to be this person. I was wrong. It wasn't that person. So as much as I liked the 1942 timeline, like, I was invested in what was happening with her and what was going on in that period, it was really the present day timeline that had me hooked, which is so unusual in a dual timeline story. Usually it's the past that really hooks me, and the present day one is just there to kind of help me find out about the past. But no, it was the present day timeline, the present day people, what the main character is dealing with, and how she's dealing with her emotions through that and moving forward. I really like that. My complaint is I hate the way it ended in the present day timeline. It is just left hanging. I was hoping to be able to see, like, we know kind of what the dream for the future is, and I was hoping to see it. Kind of like, okay, they've done this and that, right? But no. And I was like, really? Because it was the present day timeline that I was so invested in. And I also feel we don't get a true answer about the 1942 that leads up to 55. Like, there's hinted at, but how did it happen? Like, I'm not really sure. So yeah, this was a 5-star prediction book for me, and it was not 5 stars. I'm really disappointed about that. So I'm giving it 4 stars because I was fully invested. And I think if it didn't have the 1955 timeline, it might have been 5 stars. But the 55 timeline just threw me off. Now, I want to say, like, that 55 timeline is the one where it was the really short chapters. Like, so here's one, for example, right? So this page is the chapter. I mean, there are others, like this is the full chapter because the next page starts a new chapter. So, I mean, 55 was a very short part of it when it was inserted, but it took me out of the story. Like, just, yeah. So that is my thoughts on this book. Now I have the scratch card, as I said. So we're gonna go to the overhead shot so that I can put the sticker wherever it belongs on here. Will this be this line? We'll find out. Okay, so I have the card. Let's scratch it. Oh, it is the one I want. 19. A completed line. I completed another line. So now I have a decision to make. When I complete a line, I receive a reward. I can either buy a new release book, or I can play my game and draw all the prompts first and then match books to the prompts rather than picking a prompt, matching a book, picking a prompt, matching a book. But because the next game I will play is the Deck of TBR game, I don't feel like I can use my reward on a game that's not quite my own. I don't know. So I'm going to have to think about that, and you'll have to help me decide. What do you think? Okay, so let's do a quick wrap up of the week. So I finished 2 26 and 26 books. Cry from the Dust by Carrie Stuart Parks, which was a 3-star read for me. And What I Promise You by Liz Tolsma, which was a 4-star read for me. And I finished the chunker Great Expectations by Charles Dickens, which I'm giving 3 stars because there was parts I liked and parts I didn't like. So yeah, it felt like I had a pretty slow reading week, but I mean, with this book, now, I mean, I was halfway through at the beginning of the week, I want to say, but still, this took quite a while. So yeah. Highlight from the week is really, we just had a nice kind of a slow weekend. Both had Friday off, spent time together. I would say that really was the highlight of the week. Please share with me what your highlight from this past week. I would love to chat in the comments below. And if you have nothing to say, let's just put an emoji check mark in the comments, because I am working towards my goals and getting this 26 and 26 board completed. I have 5 books left. That's amazing, with 6 months left. That's awesome. Okay, I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video today, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.